Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.
I would like to call to order the meeting of the Neenah Common Council for Wednesday, November 7th, 2018. Welcome those of you who are here. The first item of business is the roll call. The clerk will call your name, and if members could check in on the roll call machine and answer the clerk as she calls your name. Thank you.
Alderman Boyette.
Here.
Bates.
Here.
Hillstrom.
Here.
Lendrum.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Lang.
Here.
Steele.
Here.
Coons.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here. There's a quorum present.
Danae.
Oh, oops. Danae.
Oh, sorry.
All members are present. There's a quorum present. Next item of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance led by Council President Stevenson.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty.
All right. We'd like to welcome Tom. Here he's the boss of this operation, aren't you, at the UW? So we have the
enthusiastic boss.
I solve problems.
There you go. So we have the top dog here tonight. So welcome. Thanks for coming. The third item of business, we have no mayor's appointments tonight. The third item of business is the approval of the council proceedings of October 17th, 2018. And the proceedings and minutes can be found on the website. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion by Alderman Lendrum, seconded by Alderman Coons to approve the council proceedings of October 17th. Is there any discussion, correction, additions, or comments? Seeing none, all in favor, vote aye. All opposed, vote no. Using the roll call machine, please. That motion passes 9-0. There are no public hearings, no plan commission reports. Brings us to item number 6, which is the public forum. The public forum is an opportunity for any citizen or anyone to address the council on any topic that they so wish. All we ask is that you stay under 5 minutes, and please give your name and address just so we have it for the record. So we welcome people to come and offer suggestions, comments, criticisms. So first up, come on up. Welcome.
Good evening. Jeff Berg from 1325 Stratford Court, Neenah, Wisconsin. Thanks for the public forum. And first off, I'd like to thank each and every one of you, whether you're appointed, elected, volunteer, for your public service. So we're just here to witness a public meeting tonight, and I'd like my son, Nicholas, to come up here and introduce himself, if you don't mind.
Exactly. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Berg. I'm here for a Boy Scout merit badge, a communication merit badge, so I can get Eagle Scout.
Awesome.
Right.
You have it.
Thank you. Thank you again for your service. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
I think your brother has one you could buy from him, maybe.
And Jeff is part of Voice. Jeff is part of Voice in our community here and in Appleton, so thanks for coming. That's good. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council on anything during the public forum? Seeing none, I will close the public forum, and we will move to the any consideration of council issues, public forum issues. Seeing none, item number 8 is a consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum,
Second.
seconded by Alderman Stevenson, to approve the consent agenda. Is there any comments? Discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote aye. All opposed, vote no, using the roll call machine, please. That motion passes 9-0. Item number 10, a report of standing committees and consideration thereof. First committee is the Public Services and Safety Committee. Chairman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting from the Special Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of October 29th, 2018. Minutes can be found on the city website. Committee recommends council approve the We Energies request for an easement at Rec Park, work request 4281741, with the provisions that We Energies provide an electric service to the boat wash location at no cost to the city, notify city staff 2 weeks prior to the start of work, and complete restoration within 30 days following the completion of the work, pending weather conditions, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Bates, seconded by Alderman Hillstrom. Any comments or questions on this? Alderman Bates.
And just to clarify that providing an electric service to the boat wash means that they're going to essentially be running lines there, not giving us the electricity free.
I don't know why we stopped there.
Yeah, we could have tried.
But, really, I mean, I was going to thank Park and Rec and that for negotiating this, because it just so happened we were doing some work there ourselves. It's installing a boat wash that the council had approved last budget, and so it worked out pretty good. They were able to negotiate this, have them do that work for nothing. So it worked out good for both of us. Anyone else? Seeing no one else, all in favor, vote aye. All opposed, vote no, using the roll call machine. That motion passes 9-0.
And that concludes my report.
Thanks for your report. Item number B is the regular Finance Personnel Committee meeting of October 29th. Chairperson Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting out from the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of October 29th, 2018. Minutes can be found on the city website. Item number 1, the committee recommends council authorize the Community Development Authority to execute the contract for sale and purchase of real estate under threat and in lieu of condemnation with the Neenah Foundry, and proceed with the acquisition of the Foundry's property at 716 Harrison Street for the purchase of $1,000 for purposes of a regional stormwater management pond. And I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Erickson. It's seconded by
Second.
Alderman Stevenson. Discussion on this item. This was pretty thoroughly discussed in committee. Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to ask Director Hayes to just give us a brief recap of this area and what we plan to do there.
You want Director Hayes or Director Kaiser? Chris? Okay.
Thanks, Jerry. Jerry's quick to pass that on. So, as you know, we've been working on this for some time. This is the Neenah Foundry owns 2 properties adjacent to Harrison Street, both north and south of Winneconne Avenue. This is the property that is north of Winneconne Avenue. It has been utilized as a parking lot for a number of years. The intent is to acquire this property, and Jerry will take it from there from a stormwater perspective and hopefully construct a regional stormwater pond to both help with treatment of our stormwater as we're required by DNR and EPA, but also to help alleviate some localized flooding issues that we've had in the past, particularly along Commercial Street and Harrison Street.
Okay. Thank you.
Would you like Director Kaiser to talk about the?
Sure. The stormwater pond that Chris mentioned would cover a sizable area on the in the center of the city that currently does not flow to a stormwater detention facility. As we discussed at committee, these retrofits of stormwater facilities in a built-up urban area are extremely tough to do. This is a unique opportunity where there's a tract of land available for us to actually accomplish something that moves us toward our goals of meeting our 40% reduction for suspended solids in that particular basin.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that explanation. Any other comments or questions? Okay, I do have a quick little story here, and we all love our city attorney, so I just asked if it's okay if I fun on it with him, but I was able to find a newspaper story from 2005. And it was a story that the city of Neenah was prepared to buy that identical property in 2005 for the low asking price of $180,000. And the quote from the city attorney is, "You will never, ever see that for a lower price than that." So I just wanted to point out it was $180,000 in 2005, and Jim says Chris Hayes must be a better negotiator.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We better review that job description.
And just think what it would be if we waited another 13 years.
So we are getting it. We are getting it for $1,000, and it is going to help us with our stormwater problems. But Jim, I'm sure
I do not intend to become a real estate appraiser.
So, okay. With that being said, there's a motion and a second to authorize a purchase for $1,000 of for the property at 716 Harrison Street. All in favor, vote aye. All opposed, vote no using the roll call machine. That motion passes 9-0.
Item number 2, the committee recommends council approve ordinance 2018-17, creating the transportation infrastructure utility and the transportation assessment replacement fee for the purpose of funding transportation infrastructure, installation, repair, resurfacing, and reconstruction, subject to language changes as described in the minutes and incorporated into the final ordinance by City Attorney Godlewski, and to refer the recommendation to the regular Common Council meeting on November 7th. And I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Erickson, seconded by Alderman Coons, to approve ordinance number 2018-17. This has been something about 2 years in the making, year and a half in the making. A lot of time, effort was spent on this. So I know there still might be a few questions or clarifications. So with that, we will go to Alderman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. When we address this next week, I'll be proposing a 10-year waiver instead of a 5-year. As we heard at committee, if somebody has just gotten their street redone, it's 1 year for that guy. That's zero help it out. Not that 10 years is, the math doesn't mean anything either. It's like $500 or something. But that's not why I'm proposing it. It's not the math. It's the length of time that they have without a fee that I would prefer. And also, I would like to encourage the mayor and the staff to continue talking about including the utilities just at some point. I know this is our first step, and of course I agree with that, but they will still be getting a fairly large bill even with this. So, I mean, it's not as bad as, $4,200 or whatever it is now, but it's still going to be a chunk on top of their property tax. So I would just encourage that conversation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just to be clear, and you did a nice job, but the fee and the forgiveness provision, this is the ordinance. That'll be part of the resolution.
That's why I talked about next week.
You pointed it out. Yeah. So that will come later. And then with regards to the interest, I think it was a message sent loud and clear by the council and the mayor concurring along with staff that the ultimate goal is to continue to work on the other components of this, which would be stormwater, utilities. Water is a little bit of a challenge because we have a separate utility in this community, so that is a little bit more of a challenge. But we heard you loud and clear, and we're going to continue to work on that very expediently and try and package something in short order. So yes, thank you for bringing it up. Alderman Boyette.
Thank you. I was going to say the same thing, and that is going to be brought to the Finance and Personnel Committee on the 26th of November. So I look forward to having those conversations at that meeting too. Thank you.
Other comments? Attorney Godleski?
Director Hayes pointed out a couple of typos at 17-207 sub 4 and sub 6 that with the council's consent I will correct. They should both refer to at the end of sub 6 instead of IE should be ERU. And there's a quotation mark at the end of sub 4 that shouldn't be there. So I will be removing that with the council's consent. Direction.
Okay. Technical corrections, so we will allow them.
And then the numbering system at 17-207 does not have the first subsection should be sub 1 instead of sub A. I apologize.
So the technical cleanups will be done without any objection. Okay. All right. Then I would just very quickly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because we are going to have a future resolution, but I do want to say for those folks that watch this, and I know there's a lot of them, this is groundbreaking stuff here that we're doing once again in Neenah, Wisconsin. We are taking something that has been long-standing and happens all over the state of Wisconsin, and that's assessments, people's assessments for transportation infrastructure projects. Road construction. And in lieu of assessments that cost homeowners thousands of dollars, we feel we have found a way, the council and, the help of Alderman Coons and Stevenson and a whole bunch of other people, and then staff working a lot of time spent on this, particularly Director Kaiser, on providing us with, and Attorney Godleski, providing us with alternatives to really kind of take some of the sting out of it for homeowners in this community, spread it out to each and every person who utilizes the road system here in the city of Neenah. So I want to commend the council, and I'm quite confident in my travels, whether they be at the Rotary Club or church or the grocery store, people are looking forward to this. And they're seeing this as a very unique way to get these road projects done and not having homeowners bear the burden when their street comes up, thousands of dollars assessment. So I commend each and every one of you for the time spent on it. Anyone else? Alderman Stevenson.
Yeah, just a comment that I appreciate Alderperson Lendrum's making us aware, and I think we all knew that she had that as a subject that she was struggling with. and I had a last minute thought here. The $22 is still on the table, correct? Is that okay? The $22 figure is. I'm looking through the ordinance. Is that is an annual fee that will be reviewed and could change each year?
Yes.
Okay.
The commitment that the resolution has is that fee would remain at $22 for the first 5 years.
So that's my question is given Alderperson Lendrum's request, stumbling here. Do we need to go do some calculations based on her assumption or her request that we extend 10 years? What that would do, if anything, to a funding mechanism?
That's a great point, Alderman Stevenson. I had the same thought today that before we take up the resolution, I would like to see the impact.
Yeah, right.
Before we do that. And
At
that
least
should be
have it
calculated.
prepared so that we can understand what
We
that
should be able to calculate.
Right.
On average, 150 homes a year, right, Jerry? About 150 homes a year. Mike, Finance Department will have that information. I think it's a great point that we make sure we have that information, see the impact, because the number of 22 is floating around there. People are hearing that number and they're comfortable with that number. And you got to be careful if you change that number, then people will right away say that you bait and switch. But we have also made a commitment for the first 5 years based upon the recommendation of where we're going to set the fee. Right, Jerry? Okay.
Thank you.
And then just as a side note, this very night I've been told that Oshkosh is debating a wheel tax tonight, and that's $30 a vehicle. You have 2 vehicles in Oshkosh, $60. It's just a different way to play the dragon.
Does it cover sidewalk?
Think we found a unique way to do it. Anyone else? Alderman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. If you would just, I know this comes up in the next finance meeting, but the 5-year extension, is that just on residential? I mean, if a commercial property had some work done in the last 5 years, they do or do not get the exemption?
That was not specifically addressed at committee or even in our staff discussions. So we were tying it to a parcel.
All the discussions that we had was residential.
Yeah, make sure that's discussed. Thank you.
All right, Alderman Coons.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess I was expecting you to talk a little bit more about this, in particular in comparison to a wheel tax. And I think the work that's being done here, I think the term for wheel tax, maybe is a lazy tax, which I've heard our finance director use, and I would agree with the wheel tax in that it goes out to a zip code. It would go out to many people in the town of Neenah if we did it here, to the village of Fox Crossing, and they'd have to somehow get out of it and to be there, up to them. It would go through the state. We'd collect the money and not do anything. And the idea is, and wouldn't be tied to anything. It would be tied back to trying to get back a certain amount of dollars. It's what we get. It's what we get, and we get to go spend it all. Here, the work has been done very strategically in just replacing, and hence the name, just replacing that special assessment, and tying that very closely. So residents and business owners can understand that dollar amount, and that we're not trying. This isn't a new tax. This is simply a new way of assessing that, and doing it in a way that is not as disruptive to families that oftentimes had to take a second mortgage out on their house to pay for that special assessment. So I think the work there, and it has not been easy to find a new way of doing it. And I know Dr. Kaiser's worked to find many different outlets. And when this idea came along, it all of a sudden seemed so much more simple. And it was a good indication that we're on the right track when something becomes more, just starts making common sense. And so I think there's been a lot of nice work here, a lot of groundbreaking work, as you said, that I think will be something that people take a look at and point to and go, yeah, we need to do something like that, and think about this a little bit more than just have the state collect some money for us. So I applaud what's been put together here, and I support it with as much excitement as I can.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. Any other comments, questions? Resolution will be forthcoming. When is that? Budget hearing. At the budget hearing. At the budget hearing, which is next Tuesday. So we'll be probably talking a little bit more about it then. So, all in favor? There's been a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 2018-17, which will create the Transportation Infrastructure Utility and the Transportation Assessment Replacement Fee. All in favor of that motion will vote aye. All opposed will vote no using the roll call machine. That motion passes 9-0. Thank you very much.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. Item number 10, reports of special committees. There was no report from the Plan Commission. Neenah Menasha Fire Rescue Joint Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of October 23rd, 2018. Alderman Coons.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting out on the meeting of October 23rd. Item number 1, committee recommends the Common Councils of the City of Neenah and Menasha ratify the 2019 through 2021 labor agreement with Local 275, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Coons.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Stevenson to ratify the labor agreement for Local 275 firefighters. Discussion. Alderman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to take a second and congratulate both our negotiating team for the administrations of both Neenah Menasha and our leadership in Local 275 for continuing the practice of professional but responsible negotiating. And it's been a pleasure to have sat on the Neenah Fire Rescue Personnel Committee for every year but one since it was created, and I continue to see the good work that our chiefs and our administrations have done. I continue to see the good work that our represented folks in 275 do, both in the community and obviously professionally. So. This is not a process that is just thrown over the back and forth across the table in a one night meeting. These are negotiations that are true negotiations, and both sides do it in a responsible, respectful manner. And I just want to acknowledge that.
Thank you for your comments. Yeah, they did work hard, and both sides, as I understand it, the fire was actually the quickest turnaround. Some time. Nice. And police department also. There have been some changes to the environment and that, but everyone worked well together as stated by Alderman. Anyone else? Seeing no one, there's a motion and a second to approve the labor agreement with Local 275 2019 to 2021. All in favor, vote aye. All opposed, vote no using the roll call machine. That motion passes 9-0.
Number 2, committee recommends the City of Neenah and the City of Menasha Common Councils approve Neenah Menasha Fire Rescue 2019 budget as presented, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Coons, seconded by Alderman Stevenson. Comments or questions? There we go. Alderman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. How does this differ than us approving it within the budget?
We're going to talk about that. Okay. Yeah, that's the reason we both jumped in.
That's how we all jumped in.
Yeah, the motion would be most appropriate to incorporate it. City budget as part of that. Yeah, I think the intent is for the committee's intent was to incorporate the budget into the fire budget into the city's budget.
I'm gonna call Alderman Coons and Stevenson, who serve on that committee.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, it was a question I had the city attorney prior to the meeting. I wanted to read it out, get it out on the floor, and I guess Jim, I do look for you for the guidance. We could simply just to amend this to submit the budget.
Incorporate the fire budget into the City of Neenah budget as presented.
And the issue that Menasha might have passed it or whatever action they took, would that cause us any issues?
As long as in the and both cities are adopting the same budget numbers. Shouldn't have it.
And I'm sorry, the wording on that again was incorporate
the budget as presented.
All right.
The city of Neenah budget.
I would make the motion to amend and change the word approve to incorporate the budget.
Second.
Alderman Coons moves to amend it to include the language as he just stated with regards to incorporating it into our budget discussion next week. Alderman Stevenson seconds that. All in favor of the motion to amend it to that language, signify by saying aye.
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 Did I do it? Did I do it? Okay. Okay. All in favor will vote aye. All opposed will vote no. Using the roll call machine. That motion passes 9-0. So now we are on the motion as amended. Comes the motion. Alderman Stevenson.
Yeah, I think I want to try to clarify for anybody watching on TV the process for the approval of the Neenah National Fire Rescue budget. At the time of incorporation, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, something like that. At the time the two fire departments were merged, we created by the merger agreement a Neenah National Fire Rescue Finance and Personnel Committee meeting. As part of the bylaws of the merger, the administration, the chief, has a responsibility to submit to that committee the budget that he would like to, he or she would like to present to the councils. That process has evolved over the years, as all processes do when you start something new. And what, in essence, what happens now is the chief prepares a budget, and then he'll sit down with the mayors of each of the communities, and they will make adjustments because, like all departments, the department heads submit their budgets to the mayor. The mayor then takes those budgets, makes his amendments, and then presents the final budget recommendation to the council for final consideration. And the council is the one that actually adopts the budget. So it has evolved so that the fire chief will submit his budget to both mayors. The mayors will sit down and come to some sort of conclusion as to what the final product will look like. And that final product is then submitted to the Neenah National Fire Rescue and Personnel Committee. We reviewed it, looked at it, and said it looks fine to present to the councils for their individual deliberation. That's in essence what we're doing is saying that the committee did review it and signed off on moving on to the final budgetary review process. That was wordy, I apologize.
That's fine. Can I just? What was the vote on in the committee? Was that unanimous?
Believe so. Yes, I believe so.
Good. Thanks. Thank you for the explanation.
I retired as the clerk of that committee, so I don't necessarily remember.
All right.
I think it was Mike was there.
No, thank you for the excellent explanation. So, and I can just anecdote. I can tell you that those discussions with Mayor Merkus and the chief who's here tonight, Chief Clone, and the new the administration of the fire department, they've done a very nice job of cleaning up the budget, presenting it in a format where it's it's easier to understand and know where the dollars are going. So we appreciate it. All right. With that, there is a motion as amended, which becomes the motion to incorporate the Neenah National Fire Rescue's 2019 budget into the city budget. Correct? All in favor of that motion, vote aye. All opposed, vote no. That motion passes 9-0.
That ends my report.
Thank you. Item number C, the Board of Public Works meeting of October 30th. Vice Chairperson Hillstrom.
Thank you, Mayor. The minutes from this meeting can be found on the city website. There are 3 informational items this evening. Item number 1, the board approved pay estimate number 5 for contract 3-18 for Nature Trail Subdivision Street Construction to MCC Incorporated, Appleton, in the amount of $196,263 $1,000,000.42. Item B, the board approved pay estimate number 1 for contract 5-18 miscellaneous concrete pavement and sidewalk repair to Fisher Ullman Construction, Appleton, in the amount of $106,661.25. And item C, the board approved pay request number 2 for Washington Park Phase 2 to R&R Wash Materials, Ripon, in the amount of $61,663.20. And that concludes my report.
Thanks for your report. Item number D is Landmarks Commission. Alderman Legg, is there a report?
There's no report this month.
Thank you. Item E, Sustainable Neenah Committee. Alderman Coons.
I have no report this time.
Item F, Bid Board. Anything to report, Alderman Legg?
I just have a couple of dates to remind people of. Upcoming Small Business Saturday is November 24th. The Very Neenah Christmas event is coming up on December 7th. Following that, the Neenah Arts Council event in the bid will be in the downtown and surrounding area will be taking place, called Celebrate the Season. That's on December 8th. The gift card rewards event took place on November 2nd and 3rd, and they had record numbers of sales that day. So very exciting news downtown. Also, the bid operating plan will be discussed at the November meeting, so that will be coming up. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. And just as a note, for the council, Small Business Saturday, the mayor does issue a proclamation regarding Small Business Saturday. Usually every year, and I've done that, and urge you to, try and get out in the community, whether it be Fox Point, whether it be, West Side Business District or downtown or South Commercial, and support our local merchants as best we can in the public. Thank you for your report. Bergstrom Mahler, Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Bergstrom Mahler Museum of Glass had their annual meeting a few weeks ago. There's an upcoming exhibit November 15th through February 17th. It is called Sharper Edges, Women Working on the Edge of Glass. And this exhibit is to highlight women who work in the glass arts. And I would encourage everyone to visit the museum and take a look at it. Upcoming events are November 15th from 5 to 7, Art After Dark, Giving Thanks, and the public exhibition opening. And that should be really interesting. November 16th at 6 p.m., the Neenah Public Library, there's a panel discussion with exhibiting artists on the evolution of women working in glass. And there is a reception to follow at the museum, open to museum members and invited guests. December 8th is the 10 to 3 o'clock holiday open house at the museum. And December 20th from 5 to 7 is Art After Dark, and it is going to be a Festivus party. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much for the report. There are no petitions received. Council directives. Anyone have any council directives they'd like to talk about? Any unfinished business? I would, kind of unfinished business, but I would just like to publicly thank the clerk and deputy clerk and all the helping hands we had, the volunteers, but they get paid for working the polls, but it's a heck of a long day for those folks. They're there early in the morning, they're there till late at night, and this time they were, as in many times, they were real busy. So, Patty, we've had early voting here. We've given members of this community the opportunity to come in early and vote. It's been a long process here, a long month in the clerk's office and in the mayor's office and Dulles with people coming and going. But it's to watch this happen and with very few hiccups is really enjoyable. And the elections are, the fabric of our society and so important to democracy and the integrity of the ballot and the integrity of elections. And I'm really proud to say that here in Neenah, I can tell people that their vote does count and they're treated with respect and everyone's treated well. and given the opportunity to vote. And it showed yesterday because the turnout, Patty, you talk about it at all?
Sure, I can just mention it. I was predicting a 65 to 70, and I was thinking that would be like a stretch. And we actually ended up with 77.5% turnout.
That's huge.
Presidentials are usually about 75 to 80. So this, you can almost compare it to a presidential election as far as voter turnout.
Very good. So we, Patty, on behalf of myself, and well job. All your workers and that, and make sure you relay the message. Normally I get invited to the lunch or whatever. The free lunch.
And bring your checkbook.
And thank so I'll do it then. But Alderman Coons?
Thank you, Mayor. I just was wondering how we fared in the smaller polling places. I know it was a busy election. Everybody's working really hard. Particularly, I think like places like the voting White House. How'd that work out?
As far as size?
Yeah, I mean, as far as, just purely.
It really wasn't too bad. They had crowd control at the door, so they weren't allowing a lot of people in at one time. And so the way they had it set up, and they kind of went back into that kitchenette type area for the workers themselves. So they had a little more room in the room, and it actually worked pretty well. Very few complaints. Couple, you always get a couple, but very few complaints. The line wasn't really too bad of an issue, but I found that all over in all the polling places that the line was not really a big issue. At the fire station, it rarely went out the door. And maybe one or two times throughout the day, I think Wayne said it might have gone to the door, maybe out, but not in most places, there was not much of a line throughout the day.
I've always enjoyed voting in Neenah, so.
Good.
Patty had the mayor running around in Gopher today and delivering stuff, so I can tell you that the two places where the Whiting Boathouse sometimes was getting a line, and then Washington Park. But other than that, not much. We did something. We put out some tents, Whiting. We had some tents with sides and that because of the possibility of inclement weather and elderly and that. I don't want them, because these are smaller venues now than the schools. I don't want them sitting out in the elements any more than they have to. So we tried that. We have a little bit of refining to do with regards to that, but we'll get there and make sure that we try and at least keep them out of the elements if at all possible during these very heavy elections. Alderman Steele.
Yes, I was just impressed that over 1,100 people registered at the polls, and I'm wondering if that's a usual number. That's
a pretty large number. Voter registration was up. The one that really amazes me is the fire station on Breezewood. They seem to somehow get all the new registers. Look, they had 256. And the next closest was police at 206. So.
Well, that's that. If you have new housing, there's housing.
So then you're getting the turnover. Is it rental property?
There's and there's a fair number.
Yeah, that's what usually what the big turnover is.
But 10% of the people that voted that day registered.
Yeah, and registration, of course, takes a little longer. So there were some lines for registration at some of the places, but it takes a little bit to register. So next time, people that are watching, if you come in early, you can come in early and register. You can register anytime during the year, so that you don't have to sit in line and register the day of the vote. So as a reminder.
And just one more note, the early voting was actually 27% of our registered voters had voted early. So that kind of made the election day a little less busy.
That's
good. Busy.
All right. Well, nice job. So, okay. Under new business, discussion of the November 21st council meeting, which is the night before Thanksgiving. All heard that song, "'Twas the Night Before Thanksgiving."
When all through the
We, at this time, I asked Mike yesterday, he doesn't believe there's anything pressing for finance.
We have nothing as of this moment, and tomorrow noon would be pretty much the cutoff. So,
and I
Same here.
asked Jerry if they had anything. If any council member doesn't have anything, we may be able to cancel that meeting. We were going to move it up to Monday or Tuesday so we didn't have to meet on Wednesday, but, you know, we've regularly, in past years, different times of the year, if there is no business, we don't have to meet. So, okay? So at this point, it appears that we're not going to, but we will have that final decision by Friday, end of Friday morning. Okay? Alderman Boyette?
Just wanted to clarify, so the finance meeting then will be still held on the 26th. We just wouldn't do anything on Wednesday.
We would, we would have our normal meeting schedule, then would start up the next week.
right, yeah, we're talking about the meeting of the 12th, which it would be a normal finance committee, which is next Monday. And we do not have anything for that agenda, but we do have at least 2, if not more, items for November 26th. So
My bad, I'm looking at the wrong week.
Yep.
Sorry.
And the plan was if we had to have committee meetings, we were going to piggyback on Monday night again. On Monday night, because Tuesday, public hearing on the budget. So, but it appears that we have been efficient and we won't have to have that meeting. So, but then December 2nd, or the committee meetings for the last week of November might have a few extra things, but we'll get through it. Okay? So thank you on that. All right. Nicholas, you want to tell us what you learned tonight? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because we'd like to know. We'd really like to know what you learned.
But we wanted to thank you for coming, and best of luck on your journey to becoming an Eagle Scout. A lot of hard work, and it's something to be proud of, so hopefully give it your best shot. We have a couple more people that need to speak under this. First, I'm going to call on Alderman Boyette. Alderman Boyette.
Thank you. I just wanted to remind everybody that Veterans Day is coming up, and we have a celebration memorial type ceremony at Shattuck Park on Monday at 11 a.m. If you can make it, we'd love to see you. Rain or shine.
And then
technically Veterans Day is Monday, but we observe it. I'm sorry, on Sunday, but we're observing it on Monday.
Okay. And the one that's put on by the city is at 10 a.m. on Tuesday? Monday, right?
It's the same one.
Okay, you said 11. I thought I heard you
Oh,
say 11.
maybe I have the time wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's at 10 a.m.
10,
on Monday.
my bad,
Okay.
10 a.m.
That's why I wanted to clarify it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Anyone else? Yeah, I know. Thanks. Anybody else? Alderman Hillstrom.
Thank you, Mayor. I know everybody's anxious to get at the 2018 budget review this evening, so I'm going to keep this short. As much as I enjoy being a part of this council and the quality of life we do our best to provide our citizens, there have been changes in my life that have become a higher priority than serving as an alderman in this great city. So tonight I'm announcing that I will not be seeking re-election in the spring of 2019. I'm doing this now so those in the 3rd District who might be interested in this position will have the time to do a little research on what an alderman does and what needs to be done to run for this position. I hope whoever is elected to this position will do as I have tried to do with the decisions I have made, and that is to look at the history of similar decisions, the short-term effects, and maybe the most important, which is the long-term effects of their decisions. That is why a project like Arrowhead Park and the millions of dollars of development dollars and that growth it will bring to our area is vital to our future. So, thank you.
Okay. Alderman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderperson Hillstrom shared his announcement with the mayor and I today, And so I haven't had a chance to react. And I have to say, I had a hard time walking up to him tonight to acknowledge his notification. But I need to. And there's a lot more time to go. And your time here is not done. So we will continue to value the professionalism, the dedication, and the level-headedness that Alderperson Hillstrom has brought to this council during this time. And for those of you that out in the 3rd District who may be interested in this seat, you have some huge shoes to fill. So I just wanted to acknowledge on behalf of the council that we certainly understand your rationale, and you can share that in detail with other council members as you see fit. It's all good. His health is good. I'm assuming he wanted. Person Hillstrom has other things that he's made a higher priority in his life, and Mayor and I have talked about that, and that we totally respect it. But you will be hard to replace.
Anyone else? I'm going to have some things to say down the road, but you're going to be here a while. Yeah, I was wondering. I said to someone last night, I wonder how long it's going to be till we start talking about the next election. And we're talking about the next election. So thanks, Lee. You answered that question for me. But no, Lee and I have talked, and there's a higher calling too. And Alderman Hillstrom is going to be an advocate for people and continue the type of good work that he's done here on this council for many, many years. Highly respected, great decision maker. His dedication and his hard work is second to none. It's going to be hard to fill his shoes. And you know what? I think we're all still going to see him around. Willing to bet that the mayor's going to keep him on a committee or two. And we're all going to see him enjoy walking all over the city every week and pointing out bad sidewalks to Jerry Kaiser. Right, Jerry? He's like your eyes and ears for bad sidewalk, isn't he? So,
just avoid tripping into them.
But we really do. The citizens of this community have been very well served by Lee in his many years of dedication to this community. And I, as mayor, and speaking with George Shirk, we really appreciated the loyalty and the determination of making this community better, making it better tomorrow than what it is today. So thank you very much, Lee. And December 1st, is that correct? For folks out there, December 1st is when people can start taking out nomination papers for the next election, which will be held in April. And go ahead.
They can take out papers, register as a candidate anytime, but December 1st is the first day to circulate your nomination papers and obtain signatures.
Okay. So if someone's interested in these positions, I urge them to talk to one of the aldermen. Talk to me. I'm sure if someone's interested, Lee would talk to you if you're in that district. And it's going to be hard to replace him, but I'm sure someone will step up. So thank you very much, Lee. I appreciate it. All right. With that, anyone else? Seeing no one else, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
There's a motion, seconded by?
Second.
Alderman Stevenson to adjourn. We are going to, when we adjourn, we're going to take a 3 to 5 minute break, and then the council is going to take up their fourth or fifth budget? Their fourth. We're going to take up our fourth budget workshop and hopefully be able to finish tonight so that we can take up the public hearing on the budget next Tuesday. So thank you all very, very much for coming. We all in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin, Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.